for life.
Meeting will now come to order. Roll call, Mr. Hirsch. Here. Mr. Landwehr.
I am here.
Mr. Cowley. Here. Mr. Vanek. Here. Ms. Burnett.
Here.
Mr. Pro.
Here.
And I'm here. Let's please rise for that pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Cowley, head coach of the Timberwolves RV.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda was posted throughout the district according to school board policy. Published as a legal ad in the Superior Telegram, posted on the district webpage, and sent to the WNXR radio station for announcement. A meeting notice was sent to the connection for publication. Item 3 is approval of the February 10th, that's today, 2025 agenda, open and executive sessions. Need a motion to,
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
with a second. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 4 is a consent agenda. That includes the January 13th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, open and executive sessions, and the January 30th, 2025 special closed meetings. Item, that's 8B, is the treasurer's report. Mr. Landwehr will share that information with us.
Yeah. A summary of the treasurer's report as of January 31st, 2025 general fund. General account on January 31, 2025, there was a balance of $3,488,074.82 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of February and not included in the January 31 balance are $157,177.56. And the disbursement from tonight's February 10th board meeting total $140,409.12. The flexible spending account on January 31, 2025, there was a balance of $25,591.96 in cash and investments. In the health reimbursement account on January 31, 2025, there was a balance of $6,182.26 in cash and investments. In the debt service fund on January 31, 2025, there was a balance of $674.58 in cash and investments. And a more detailed report on fund activity is included in the financial statements via your computer.
Thank you. Item 4C was the payment of invoices, and hopefully we've all had a chance to look at those. If we had any questions, direct them to Mr. Betzer-Cotter. Item 4D is resignations, employment, retirement. Mr. Moore.
Yes, we had two retirements that came across our desks, or my desk this month. Mrs. Joan Beck, Northwestern Elementary School special ed teacher, has submitted her letter of intent to retire at the end of the school year after 35 years in the district. We also have Miss Cindy Nelson, district physical therapist, has submitted a letter of intent to retire at the end of the school year and after 35 years in the district. We're looking to approve these letters, but we also want to thank these two ladies for 35 years in the district of working with our kids and helping our students and giving everything they could to the district. And so they will be missed, but anytime somebody retires after 35 years, they deserve that. So we wish them well.
Outstanding.
Yep.
So we do need a motion in a second for the entire consent agenda. So I would entertain that at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion at all? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, approval items. Request from Jenny Forsyth, DECA advisor, and 9 students to attend the overnight state career development conference in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin on February 24th and 26th, 2025, and begin planning, if they qualify, for the international competition in April 2025 in Orlando, Florida.
All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. So first and foremost, thank you for having us. We want to take this opportunity to ask permission, obviously, for this event, but also just to kind of give you some feedback of like how what we've been up to as a DECA chapter. February is CTE month, which means Career Technical Education, and DECA is a CTSO, so a Career Technical Student Organization. We have a lot of love for our CTSOs here at Northwestern. We have DECA, FBLA, FCCLA, FFA, and Tiger Manufacturing. So we've got a lot of very cool opportunities for our students. And I'm going to introduce my president, which is Ellie Peterson, to give some information about her experience with DECA and kind of leading into also what we are asking permission for. And just as a little bit of information, I printed off a DECA information because I don't know if everybody's as familiar with the group, so I just figured I'd print one for everybody as just kind of some of the impact that DECA has here. Well, DECA is an international organization. Wisconsin just went over the 10,000 mark, so there are 10,000 members of DECA in our state, which is pretty cool. Also, just because it's CTE month, I thought I'd take the opportunity to give you some information too. So, once I pass these out, we'll do this today. I'm losing my teacher fingers. Can't pass out as fast as I used to. All right, so I'm going to give the floor to Ellie to lead us off with some of this stuff.
Hi everyone, I'm Ellie. I'm the president of our DECA chapter. I joined DECA when I was a sophomore, and it's really been impactful in showing me the business world. When I was like a freshman, I wanted to go into the science. I actually wanted to be a paleontologist, which I still love, but my heart is now with business. I really love like the aspect of being able to go in and talk to a group of people, get my ideas across, make new connections, things like that. And I'm actually going to be majoring in sports management, which is the same as like a sports business at North Dakota State next year. And that really is something that came from DECA. So I'm super excited about that. And this year was my third year competing at districts. So on Saturday, January 11th, Northwestern DECA members traveled to UW South to compete at the District 1 DECA Career Development Conference. At competition, students compete in 3 individual events, 2 role plays, and 1 comprehensive exam in many different subjects. These events are within the competitive occupational area of each student's choice. So we had a really good performance there. It was super competitive. There was lots of other teams and individuals competing there. So we had Isaac Pooler, Lauren Wida, Aiden Hubbard, and Wilson Isaacson were event medalists, which means they did really, really well on one of their events. We had Doris Ewald, Cameron Jonason, Ellie Peterson, and Ashlyn Sutherland as event finalists, which means we were top scorers. And we had 1 third place finish from Jalen Lawler and Sophie Navarro as a team. Based on the competition and other chapter activities, we earned 9 competitive spots to advance to the State Career Development Conference. This year's conference will be held at the Grand Geneva Resort and Spa in Lake Geneva on February 24th through the 26th. Our registration and lodging costs are enclosed in this request. We're also requesting the date of February 23rd for travel. In order to keep costs down, we would like permission to travel with the Superior DECA chapter on a shared bus down to Lake Geneva. We've done this in past years as well.
One of our students, Lauren Wida, one of our chapter officers, was going to come down here, but she's Glinda in the play, and unfortunately they just started her scene. She sent me a picture of her in costume, so I'm going to do her part. Lauren also just got back from state officer screening. She was one of 40 kids from our state picked to go down to state officer screening, which was down in Madison this last week. Very cool opportunity for her. And so that's just another aspect of competition that we're doing. If we have kids that qualify from the DECA State Conference to go to the international conference, we are seeking permission to be able to attend that. That will be in April in Orlando, Florida, excuse me. All costs for the trip will be paid for by the students in our DECA chapter, but we are asking for a school vehicle should we need to fly out of Eau Claire, Minneapolis, just to transport down there. We will fundraise for this event, and we also want to say thank you to our sponsors who helped raise some funds already for our chapter. The DECA Diamond level, we had Blue Ridge Implement, North Bay Trading Company, Toby Markovich, SC, Security State Bank. At the DECA Gold level, we had State Farm, Culver's, Day Distributing, Fraction and Powers, and Farmway Construction. The money that they donated will help with our club activities. For example, we had a pizza party to celebrate DECA districts last week. We have a sports and entertainment marketing conference, very similar to what Ellie is planning to do for her future, down with the Twins, where we're going to do team behind the team and learn about how sports entertainment works from a real life experience. And then also just for future travel. Thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Question for Ellie. So you're going into business sports management?
Yes.
So your dad, I think, is a Viking fan, right?
Yes.
Is that your dream job is to work for the Vikings?
I hope to work for any professional sports team.
That's a good business.
But I would
response
go
right
to the Vikings for sure.
Why wouldn't they want a team that might go to the Super Bowl?
That's true.
Win a Super Bowl.
Win one, yeah.
That's not appropriate.
there. Something tells me if you get that job, somebody's gonna be asking for tickets.
Yeah.
Can you remind me again what DECA stands for?
So it used to be Distributive Education Clubs of America. They have gone away from that. Now it's just an association of marketing students. But really it's marketing, business, finance, management, entrepreneurship. There's categories across a broad spectrum. We have kids that compete not only in the events that Ellie was talking about at our DECA district level, like state internationals where it's role plays and tests. We have a community giving project. We have an entrepreneurship, start up a business plan. Ellie is going to compete in our economic excellence testing. We have kids that teach marketing lessons. So like one kid is going to present a lesson to middle schoolers about how to start a business. So it's a wide array. So the student doesn't have to be going into marketing to participate. It's very much a wide spectrum of just learning how to interview, how to network, how to problem solve, how to communicate.
And there's a lot of community service that goes into it too. Like for example, I headed a project where we gathered sock donations for local shelters, and we gathered 70 pairs of socks, which was really awesome. And then I also headed a Miracle Minute for MDA, which is Muscular Dystrophy Association, and that did really well too. We earned over $100 in just 1 minute.
Awesome. And my son was active in DECA in high school, and then taught for 20 years, and he was an advisor for a while, and then he went into the sales, real estate, so it was a big part, it's been a big part of his life, so it's great. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just thrilled that you're doing this. I'm glad you're involved. Love the activities. Also, really appreciate the fundraising that you guys are doing. I'd like to have clarity on the details though, because I'm not clear on the ask from the financial side of it. So
Yep.
Is there an ask for us tonight?
So basically it's permission to go to state. So in previous years, the district will pay for our district and our state level competition, which is submitted in that packet. But then for internationals, the district doesn't pay anything. We fundraise all of that ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this request.
I make a motion to approve said request.
I'll second it.
And we have a second. Any other discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you
job.
for your time.
Good luck.
Item 5B, request from Ryan Teal, varsity baseball coach,
Oh, yeah.
to compete in the high school baseball challenge tournament at the Woodside Sports Complex in Wisconsin Dells on April 4 and 5 this year. The request includes the district paying the entry fee and transportation.
Mr. Teal is at his son's basketball game in Ashland tonight, so we'll fill in. This is a trip they made the last couple of years. We try to go down to this Woodside Challenge. There's like 24, 32 teams, something like that. We're guaranteed 3 games, so it's pretty good bang for our buck. There's no snow on the ground down there right now, so an opportunity possibly to play three games in 2 days before we get the snow melted up here. So normally the districts cover the entry fee, which is umpires and things like that, rental of facility, and then transporting down there it's just varsity only, so we just take 2 vans and the coaches drive.
Okay.
The parents and or activity fund will pick up the hotel and any meals or any other expenses. So it's April 4th and 5th.
They've done this before. Oh, okay.
Just a quick question. When it comes to transportation, is that going to mean that we got to hire a driver?
No, the vans and coaches can drive.
Okay.
We don't.
Yes.
The coaches will drive.
And my question, they've done this before and they found it worthwhile?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We play some decent teams and we get on the field.
typically
Yeah, I was
snow
gonna
up
say
here.
up here, yeah, you never know.
I think one year we never practiced outside. We just went down there and played our first game outside down there.
I think last year they had more snow than we had.
Right.
It was like a,
But their turf fields, they
getting in, cleaned
get
up
on the
quick.
turf fields. So it's a chance that you play 26 games. We never schedule that many just because the pitching rules now in high school baseball, you can't. This is the way to get 3 non-conference games right away over 2 days and then play our 18 conference games that we schedule, maybe one other non-conference game. It's too much to get them all squeezed in a 3-week window.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Do I have a motion to approve this request?
I'll make a motion to approve the request to play in Wisconsin Mills for the baseball team.
I'll second it. And there's a second, Mr. Probst. Any other questions or discussion? Thank you. Okay. If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Tell them to have a good time. Nobody gets hurt. Item 5C, building construction house bid sheet.
This one's me. You guys should have access to the bid sheet. This, I believe, is the 54th house that the students have built as part of this program. Don't quote me exactly on that. I know we're in the 50s. So it's built as you guys know the story. It's a 24 by 36, 2 bedrooms. It is a shell currently in terms of what's on the interior. Exterior's finished, as you guys have seen. So the layout and the materials for construction have not changed at all from last year's build. We went to an LP Smart side, moving on from the split log side that was part of the house for many, many years. So the layout is what it is. The minimum bid is set at $43,500. And we will, assuming the board approves it tonight, we will start our social media push to get the word out to our public. Because same process as always, it's a sealed bid. Sealed bids need to be turned in by no later than 3 p.m. on April 14th, 2025, which is our April meeting. And the reason why we've moved this up from typical years is we found that getting contractors lined up has been difficult for our buyers. If we do this in May, essentially what they're finding is they can't get enough people lined up to get the structure on a foundation, get it insulated, get it to a point where it can get through winter. So any questions from our board on that one?
What do we have in it for material costs?
Right there.
That is, okay, so 43 is the.
Look, it's up, last year, I believe the bid was 40,000. So there's a little bit of increase in material costs.
Sure.
And this does, things that they do put into it, tools and such that do sometimes tend to wear out.
This is one of the very successful endeavors and programs the school district has had in history. And I applaud all those involved, the kids doing it.
What they learn is incredible.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's really hard.
Yeah, Mr. Charlene was very, very impressed with this year's group.
Good. I was just gonna say that.
So,
I have might be an odd question. How big of a conflict of interest would it be if a person on the board bid on that?
all I'm gonna say is it's sealed bid.
It's a sealed bid. Yeah.
So,
If you want to put a bid in,
I'm just,
I mean, I even thought about putting a bid in and finding some land and putting it on there.
I mean, the higher price it goes for it.
I mean, you probably can't vote on it.
Bids are going up already, boy, now.
Tell you what, I will tell this out, there's a lot of interest so far.
I'm not saying, I'm talking, there's 7 people on the board. I wasn't asking for
That was a
me.
legitimate question. It was a good question, but I don't know, it's America. Anybody can vote on it, if you want, or bid on it. Well, you got the money.
You got outbid me.
bids will be sealed. I do want to make it just in TV land too. If anybody wants to look at the house, we can get you in. We just ask that you call the district office and either myself, Mr. Charlier, or we try to get our students to do it if the timing works out so they can kind of show off their work. So it is open for people to physically take a look at before bid.
And hey, if you have kids and you want to come into move into our district, hey, this would be a great way to get the house and rent some land and move it.
Having it this early gives you a lot of time to market it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short turnaround time, but like I said, it's based off of kind of the state of construction. It takes time to get these people lined up. They're busy.
Yeah.
There's no lack of options sometimes to try to get these done if we do it in May.
Ken, where are we on the, did we get a motion yet or on this one?
We have not.
Okay, I will entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal, which includes putting the house up for bid.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Glenn. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This one, I got to go around the horn on since it's.
Okay,
Yeah.
probably. Mr. Probst.
Yes.
Ms. Burnett.
Yes.
Mr. Cowley.
Yes.
Mr. Glanick.
Yes.
Mr. Hirsch.
Yes.
Mr. Lampier. And I'll say yes. Motion carried.
Work on our realtor license now.
Okay, item 5D is early college credit program applications for the summer of 2025.
Okay, we're looking to approve the early college credit for the summer. As you can see, we've got 5 students in here that would like to take some classes and looking for your approval.
Is Mr. Smith, is this a typical amount or
I think so,
kind of routine?
Yeah, I don't see that.
They're currently
If you
filling
click
applications.
on if you click on the early college credit, it kind of pops up.
I found it.
Click on early. It's not highlighted. So you might not have.
It's not highlighted
Oh,
on
it's
the
not
agenda.
highlighted?
Yeah, but
Sorry.
It's in Drive.
I don't have a computer.
I hate this computer.
So here's one student. 2 classes, another student.
You know what classes they're taking in Bristol?
Yep,
It's,
world regional geography, environmental science.
Keep scrolling.
2 students are taking that. I've got intro to communications, foundations for wellness and success, health and wellness, environmental science, and then health and wellness. So we're looking at 4 classes.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the early college credit program.
5 classes.
We have a motion by
These are all
Mr. Cowley.
These are all summer, yep.
Oh, second.
We have a second. Any further questions or discussion? No. If they aren't successful in completing the class, then they are supposed to reimburse the school.
Yes, they have to reimburse us.
Is that very common? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's pretty much all succeed,
good.
especially in the summer because they want to do it.
Yeah.
And then they're filling out applications now to the end of this month for the fall. So
Okay.
sometime this spring, you'll see the list for the fall.
Awesome.
And I personally, on a personal note, to me, this is money well spent. If we can get kids college credits while they're in high school and help them not have a big financial burden in college and get them, to where they want to go, I think that's money well spent.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Any other questions? Maybe a little more time because we didn't have all the info right. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Or do we have to, is that money that we have to, nope, we're on the board. Okay. Moving right along. Item 5E, policy revision special update, the second read.
So these are second reads tonight of the policy revisions we brought back in January. A lot of these have to do with our business managers. We do have the class rank in there as the other one for our Lowry system, correct?
So Act 95.
Yep, Act 95. So we're looking for approval of the second reads tonight.
The one that I thought would be worth just mentioning quick, you guys are aware of this. So policy 61N, having to do with federal grant funds, or sorry, just grant funds. And I would just appreciate a little bit of an update with regards to, the policy reads, the district administrator shall review new federal education legislation and prepare proposals for programs that the district seems will be appropriate. So my ask is, give me some idea of the breadth of grants that we look at and perhaps that we pursue, and what does that look like, I guess?
So we get, I can say, especially the last couple months, I get probably weekly emails on grants and finding grants and things that come across. We get things from CISA 12. If there's something that comes across my email on my desk that I think is worthwhile to look at, I send it to Cody and say, hey, let's talk about this now. One of the things first thing we look at is that, okay, how many hoops do we have to jump through to get this money? Because there's always a catch. And then sometimes it's like, okay, do we have to put up matching funds? I mean, it might be a grant for $50,000, but hey, we got to match that with $50,000 of our own dollars. And so is that really worthwhile with some things? But some grants are run through CISA 12 that we can apply for. There's been safety grants, there's been health grants, there's been mental health grants that we'll get, and then we'll bring it we'll look at it, and then we'll send it to the admin team and say, hey, let's look at applying for this, and then we'll apply for it and go from there and then see if we get it or not. I mean, it's worth looking at because with the way finances are and funding are tight right now. You look at every dollar you can get, but there again, you have to look and see, okay, is it really worth is the money really worth the effort you have to put in? Because I don't want to have somebody, say, hey, there's this great grant, but there's going to be a lot of legwork to get all the money and everything. And then how are we going to pay that person for putting in that extra time? Are we going to give them a stipend or are we not? So that all goes into that whole, if we're going to look at it or not. So
The answer is always no unless you ask, and something
That's
I
right.
say often, and
That's
sometimes applying it is like, great,
Yeah.
You're not gonna hit a home run every time, but certainly those grant monies are appreciated.
And sometimes, sometimes we get full grants, sometimes we get a partial grant. So sometimes it is worth putting our effort into it.
Well, partial funding with a match is still good if it's something you're doing anyway.
That's right.
You might be doing it.
Our staff look for grants, our administrators look for grants. We usually any given year, we have multiple grants of varying levels. Could be as small as $500 to get a supply or two of some kind of sort to potentially tens of thousands of dollars. The most recent one that we applied for was the bus grant, basically, that offset some of the costs from a federal level. So we look all the time to see if we can find monies that are out there to help us do what we like to do.
Stretch.
And what I also wanted to just point out is you expressed the effort that goes into this. And if there's a way that we can really pay back with appreciation for the people that are spending the time to do this well, that would be really great.
Yeah. And I mean, because some grants are, you do have to put a little effort into it.
Yeah,
So
right.
giving them a stipend and giving them something for somebody to do the legwork to help write that grant and that and apply for it, is worth it.
You get out of it what you put into it, I'm sure,
And some districts have grant writers. They pay, they'll pay $5,000-$10,000 for one person to write grants and that. And it's a little out of our ballpark, but you find somebody who might be good at it, might be willing to do it for a stipend and that, and see how it goes.
In the many years I've been here, our staff does an outstanding job writing the grants, seeking them out and writing the grants. It's been successful. A lot of
And-
grants,
And you know that
successful.
it is, and I think everybody in this district knows that, the funding formula doesn't help our district, and so they're always looking for ways to help our district and maybe get something to help the elementary, help the middle school, or the bus grant was another one. I mean, that's like Vince said, the answer is always no unless you ask, unless you try. So So we will keep doing that and keep working at that to see if something, is worthwhile to shoot for the moon on and go after it.
Okay, well, this policy, Dan.
I just had,
Colleague.
the class rank one is one that I've always had issues with here. And I'm just reading it that it's for the purposes of like signing up the scholarships.
Right.
The reason I say that is that we have a weighted system.
Yep.
And, many students many years ago figured out that if you take fewer classes, but you take the weighted classes, you'll have a higher grade point average than if you take full.
Right, it's math problem.
Yeah, because it waters down their grades, and I don't know that anything's ever been done to fix that. I know I'm very happy we went to the Loudy system a few years back. I think that created recognition, but still, when we are picking out who gets to have the highest grade point average in the school, that's always bothered me. Yeah, because, if you take a bunch of study halls and then all the AP classes or whatever, you're going to get the highest grade point average. And it just didn't seem right.
I think a bunch of our own students that were seniors that ended up going to Michigan Tech or some of those schools, they pointed that out to us that prior to the Loudy system.
I thought that was part of the reason that they went to this
Right.
loading system.
Right,
To
no,
try to eliminate
It is.
some of that.
That's why I'm reading this, that we still have to calculate it. And I don't know if I've talked to people in the office about it. I know it's a problem trying to use Skyward, to maybe only count 28 credits or do something like that so that, apparently, I don't know what the capabilities of Skyward are as far as calculating GPA, and I don't know, but boy, not in this day and age, it would seem like able to
Do it.
do that.
Mr. Smith, do you want to elaborate on that at all, or?
My knowledge of Skyward is not a lot.
No, I meant about the class rank.
But what Act 95 is basically, we have to notify the top 10% of the junior class that they can apply for early admission to the UW system. The top 5% can apply to UW-Madison. All it is applying. We're doing kind of their work for them, is what Act 95 is. They're not guaranteed to get in. They're not guaranteed free admission. It's just they get dibs on when they can apply. And that our responsibility is sending these form letters to those kids. The weighted system's been here, those weighted classes have been here for as long as I've been here. So I don't know when they started, and we brought it up from time to time, and it hasn't gone very far. And I don't know if we're going to eliminate, if you eliminate the weighted classes and go to just a straight 4.0, I don't know how receptive the staff would be with that, because it hasn't really come up in a while. I think we went to the Loudy system, that kind of tapered some of that talk. Because again, the Loudy system does seem to work. Right now, we have 14 students with 4.0 and above. And if we had just top 10, I think percentage-wise, we have about 90 graduates, so 9 kids would be top 10, that would leave 5 out at a 4.0 and above. So the Loudy system this year is going to work good, because they're all going to get the highest high. To be honest with you, I don't understand the weighted system quite enough to probably give you a lot of advice. But it has come up with the staff, and it hasn't gone very far.
And when you bring that up, Dan, is that from our scholarship perspective?
Yeah, well, even this, so notifying them that they can apply to Madison, your top 5%, you gotta be one of the top 4 or 5 kids in the school.
But we're not identifying a valedictorian, top of the class.
No.
But this could
Top
certainly
5%.
affect who could go to Madison
So
based on where they
Okay, 90 kids in a class, I'll check my math, and I'm gonna try to do math.
Yeah,
Right.
4 or 5.
So that'd be 4 or 5, and then 10% would be 9. So even some of the, like we did this year's class, even some kids with above a 4.0 wouldn't get this letter. They won't get the letter because it's based on 5%, 10% that was set up by the legislation. So, and again, the impact of that weighted, and what that does impact our GPAs. It puts you above 4.0.
And you want to have
If
a
you
weight,
want just a straight A, B, C, D, everybody's 4.0.
yeah, you want a weighted system too, because you want the kids to want to take the harder, more challenging classes,
Yes.
an incentive. I mean, so
I think some of that the early college credit program, I think has helped incentivize taking those tougher classes, because now it's got a little money attached to it. You're getting college credit. I think that's helped some, encourage kids to do it. Some kids still just don't.
Did they, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to remember reading some of the stuff from the kids, but don't they have different number values associated with an A plus, an A, and an A minus when it comes to the giving a grade? And I say that only because, well, when I was in school, it was either a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whether you were a 90.03 or a 99.9, it didn't matter. So am I accurate in the fact that an A plus gives you a better number than an A minus?
It's the weighted class that gives you a better number.
yeah,
Just
What's
so the
the weighted-
AP class.
Certain classes are assigned this weighted amount, and that's what drives you above the 4.0. It's not, I don't think we give A pluses here.
yeah, an A plus.
We don't do A pluses. We do this weighted thing, and that's what gets you more GPA points.
Does an A minus get a different number of points than an A?
Yes.
Well, maybe that's what
Yeah,
Yes.
and a weighted class, if you get an A, you get five points
Right.
towards your. So like an A minus will give you 4 point something or other. It'll be better than.
Yes.
So the minus is a lesser.
Mhm.
The A or an A plus is the same,
And
but a minus is
some scholarships, and some schools don't want you to use the minuses and the plus, B pluses. They want to go just straight, and it's a lot of work, trying to do that in some scholarship applications and things like that, or different awards and things like that. Jenny's a Skyward expert, so I would maybe.
Is that something that is possible to only count certain classes in someone's?
Weighted?
Like,
or in the
let's say,
GPA?
like, just only count 28 credits of their possible 32 or something like that.
How do you determine which 28?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the
You know what I
thing.
mean?
You'd have to pick the weighted classes or have a priority, like anything that's below an A gets included.
Yeah, the only reason I say this is because I've got a junior who's one of the 4.0 kids. But I think the third quarter, his comment where this is the first quarter this year where I'm actually taking a real class. Well, because he's taken algebra 2, all of the stuff already. And now he took, like 3 art classes and a gym class. And now he's got an English class and stuff. And it's not that he's unwilling to do some of the other stuff, but his personal desire to go to Madison or anything isn't there. He doesn't care. So I'm going to do everything I need to follow the career path that I want.
Sure.
Dan, what is the main question you have on this?
Well, I guess just if there's a way that Skyward could, or a way that we come up with a system that kids don't benefit from not taking a full schedule. That's what I'm concerned about.
And Mr. Smith, I do believe they take a study hall. Study hall's not a credited class.
Huh?
Study hall's not a credited class. So that at least helps that aspect.
Well, it doesn't though.
So,
It doesn't help with the grade point calculation.
yeah, you're talking about the denominator and dividing it.
Yes, you're dividing it by
I
fewer
get what you're
credits.
talking about there. I don't know how you fix that, but
The Lowry system, to get the highest level, the Lowry system, you need 32 credits. That's one of the criteria.
Well, maybe that should be one of the criteria for calculating the top 10%.
If it could do that.
Has there been kids that have gotten what they wanted to be able to apply because of?
Well, I can tell you right now, there's kids who knew what was going to happen coming in their freshman year because they had parents in the system, and they
didn't get the
they
number.
were were number 1 in the class because they knew exactly what they needed to.
They were playing the game.
Yes.
That's one of the big reasons we went to the Lowry system, get rid of the game.
Well,
Is it gonna be 100% perfect? No.
What I'll tell you is I will contact, Bill Kinzinger in the morning. Bill is he's now the principal at, Ripon, and both my boys went to Ripon. It's college prep high school. They dealt with the same stuff, and trust me, I dealt with Jackson, dealing with some of this, stuff too with, what you're talking about. And, so I get where you're coming from. But they might have an answer how they deal with this.
Yeah.
And then
That's all
I
I'm
can
just looking
report
for
it out to
something.
you, so.
I guess I'd like to just comment. So I've wrestled with this a bit too. And where I've landed in my mind is that when it comes down to scholarship, applications and things, yeah, I know for example, Liberty University, you can go right on there. They do give a high priority if you're a valedictorian. You have potential for a full ride. But here's my point. They're not just looking at that data point. They're looking at a holistic view of that student. So it's not just your GPA. They're looking at what courses are you taking, what extracurricular activities are you in the full package. So I'm not totally concerned or worried about the students being at a disadvantage. I think we got to stress is, hey, it's more than just your grades that matter.
But it doesn't for the letter.
Well, but my point is that letter's not going to get them
Well, I think,
scholarships too.
A student doesn't get the letter still can apply to UW Advantage.
Yeah, and that's not going to get the letter doesn't get
This is just
Formality.
it's something that the statute requires us to do.
okay, I don't think, if we didn't change it, I think we'd have to wait till the incoming freshman class. Is that true? I believe that's the case. I think this should
Yeah, I
be,
think you're right.
I think we should
This would be.
pass it as we have it and then refer these discussion items to the admin or even one of our, committee.
Is that a motion?
It's a directive.
Then farm
Well,
back
we don't need a motion to not, to take.
We need a motion to accept these policies.
Right, that's what I'm suggesting.
Is that a motion?
He can't.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Yeah.
policies.
I'll entertain it.
I'll second it.
And we have a second, with the understanding that the class ranked issue be looked into. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, item 6, administrative report.
So last month we, Mr. Smith and, they gave a presentation on, the high school cell phone policy and, where we are with things on that. I know this has been a, topic of discussion. I guess we, as an administrative team, I think we have a good handle of what's going on with the cell phones, in the building. We don't really have a problem with them. And we do have a problem. They deal with them. Teachers deal with them. The administration deals with them. I'd like to just keep this as is. But if the board feels they would like to really look at changing it and banning that, we can bring that to a vote in March. I know Senator Kitchen just brought something up. We're looking to talk about have a public hearing tomorrow at Capitol on a statewide cell phone ban. So it'd be interesting to see what he says on that. But that's kind of where the admin feels they're at. So any discussion or questions on that?
Well, I would say there is the public hearing tomorrow, and that precedes their assembly's committee's discussion on having a statewide requirement for each school to have, and actually I think what we can have. So it's going through the legislative process. That's probably going to determine what actions we take. But in the meanwhile, the existing policies are working good.
The staff is,
Okay.
the high school staff is very comfortable with what we're doing.
I have one question. I don't know if the staff member was confused or not. So I said, you don't allow phones in your classroom. You just say, everybody check your phone here or whatever. If they have the thing, they put it in whatever. And I had this person say, some kids say that's personal property. You can't take my phone. And then I say, well, what's your next step? They're like, nothing. They go, keep your phone. I said, well, isn't your next step send them down to your office? So I don't know if there's a miscommunication. I don't know if that's just the one person I talked to that, or if that's, you know what I'm saying? No, somebody said that kids say it's personal property and they just keep walking by, and I'm like, I think you should. I don't think that's I mean, I think
No,
that's,
if that's the teacher's, if that's the classroom rules and they
right, yeah.
say that, well, then it can go see Mr. Smith.
Yeah. I don't know if you can send that out to make sure everybody's on the same page. You know what I mean? I don't know if
That's what we do.
okay.
We confiscate the phones. If they don't want to turn the phone to the teacher, the teacher gets hold of us, and we go up there and try to, and they refuse to
That's what I
confiscate the phone,
thought.
it turns to insubordination, and we can suspend them for insubordination.
Yep.
Take your personal property and go home.
That's what I was. That's what I said.
That's it changes from not following the rules to insubordination. It happened this weekend here. Some kid, well, I don't want to turn my phone to the teacher. They'll turn into the office for the RFC. What if I don't do that? Then you're insubordinate. You'll go home.
Okay.
Be suspended.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And the kid turned his phone over to the teacher. That's what happened. So that's our process. And our teachers are fully aware of that.
Okay.
Good question. Point. You're still in communication.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if there's any more discussion on that, so if anybody wanted to chime in, please do. So, okay. Communications. First of all, is it Larry Lutzy?
Larry
Lustry, sorry. Larry Lustry passed away recently, and his wife was
Pat
Lustry.
was a long time. How
employee
many
here.
years was he employed?
Over 50.
Over 50 years in the district, and Larry was at her side.
all those times.
Except when he was milking cows, he was at her side all the time.
So we just want to pass our condolences off to their family and that, and we're sorry about their loss. You know, so that was the first thing I wanted to say. And a couple of things though, we've got thank you to the Zozo family for memorial sent. Thank you to the Rydberg family for memorial that was sent. Confirmation was received. This is actually a big one. I got a email last week from CISA 12 that our own Allison Nielsen is the WCAS CISA 12 Outstanding Special Service Administrator of the Year, and she will go up for to get the Wisconsin for all. She's one of 12 now of all the CISAs that will go up for the state award. We should find out next month. So congratulations to Allison. She's done an outstanding job for the district in this role in a very short time she's been in this role, and that says a lot from her from being awarded that award. So that's all I got for communication.
Does anybody know how the Culver's deal ended up for that Rydberg family?
Well, you know what? Myself, Mrs. Craig, a lot of teachers. Miss Alexis was there working. We had a shift that we worked Sunday night. A week ago Sunday night, I think we worked 2 hours, and I believe they made over $6,000. I think at part of the thing I heard was they had over $6,000. So that was when I got there. There was 15 cars backed up to go through the drive-through. I had to find a parking spot. It was for those 2 hours. It was busy, but I know all day I think people were there before 10 o'clock. I got to go in and eat that. So it was a great night, and thank you so much for the people at Culver's for doing that for us.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It was.
The Culver's did. Definitely.
Pupil count.
Mr. Fetchcott.
Yeah, you guys have so as you most likely remember, we count students twice, third Friday count in September, at the beginning of the year, and then mid-year, second Friday in January. So that report's in there. The gist of it is that basically our enrollment from the fall of this year to January 2025 is essentially the same. We're down one student, which isn't a big swing one way or the other. So that is good news to say the same. We always want to continue to grow, but I'm happy when we don't lose anybody. So, any questions on that?
If a student graduates early, is he in that January count?
Yes, technically our students don't graduate until the end of first semester, which is after second Friday.
Okay, thank you. And maintenance update?
Maintenance updates in there for you, nothing out of the norm for what we typically deal with this time of year.
Okay, donations.
Okay, donations. We had quite a few this month. Courtney Mashlin donated clothing to items to Iron River Elementary School. Jane Pangred donated new jackets for the borrowing closet at Iron River School District, or the Iron River Elementary School. Rachel Zawicki donated treats and snacks for the students at Iron River. Jeannie Jewell donated stow pants for the borrowing closet at NES. Michigan Covenant Church donated stow pants, leggings, clothing, and snacks for the students at NES. Paula Davis donated winter hats and gloves for the students at NES. A donation of $5,400 was received for the athletic department from the Darrell Calder family as a memorial for Mr. Calder. Mr. Calder taught and coached at Pearson High School for 32 years. He coached the first Northwestern football team in 1966, as well as boys and girls basketball, golf, and track over his long career. So we'd like to thank that family for their generous donation, as well as all the other generous donations.
Awesome. At the bus drivers and mechanics appreciation day.
It is bus drivers and mechanics appreciation day. We are going to celebrate that this Wednesday, February 12th. We're going to take them all out for breakfast at Twin Gables at 8:30. So if anybody's available and wants to come out for breakfast, you're more than welcome to do that. And last week was Counselors Appreciation Week, and we took a picture of our counselors and put it out on social media, and we thank them for everything they do for us, and we wouldn't be able to survive if we didn't have you ladies. So Ms. Headless in attendance tonight. So.
WASB correspondence and legislative report, Mr. Cullen.
Okay, let's see. President Donald Trump signed an executive order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports. The order prohibits schools and universities from allowing biological males to compete on teams designated for women, regardless of how they gender identify, by blocking or rescinding federal funds from schools or agencies who violate the order. Last week, Representative Joel Kitchens formally introduced AB 2, requiring school boards to adopt a policy which generally prohibits pupils from using wireless communication devices during instructional time. The bill, while aimed at school boards and K-12 education, will not be heard in the Assembly Education Committee due to Assembly rules preventing lawmakers from hearing bills they have authored. Instead, the bill will receive a public hearing tomorrow in the Assembly Committee on Science and Technology. Resolutions adopted by the 2025 WASB Delegate Assembly on January 22nd have been posted on the WASB website. The resolutions approved cover a variety of issues. So if you're interested, they include school funding, new licensure pathways, early literacy assessment for English learners, consistent standards for all schools, public and private, early childhood funding, staff mental health supports, education objectives for science, math, language arts, social studies, world language and technology, truancy and the responsibilities for school districts, funding school lunch, and cybersecurity. Two proposals not approved by the Delegate Assembly included decoupling public and private ways of funding schools and changes to accountability and standards related to the school report card calculations. There's more. The Assembly Committee on Education chaired by, hang on. No, this is a different one. Schedule a public hearing for this Thursday. I today. The hearing will be, last Thursday. The hearing will be the first Education Committee action of the new legislative session and presumably feature top legislative priorities related to K-12. Hearing will feature 5 bills that range in topics from regulating the ability of DPI to alter state assessment standards, curricular mandates for cursive writing and civics instruction, school material inspections by district residents, and mandating an arbitrary percentage of school funds be spent in the classroom. This week, President Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders generally aimed at promoting school choice through federal grant programs and at restricting federal funds to schools or states that directly or indirectly support or subsidize the instruction, advancement, or promotion of gender ideology or discriminatory equity ideology. This week, President Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders generally aimed at promoting school choice. Did I just say that one? I must have done it twice. All right, that's it.
I know, the one on the, transgender, we have an emergency, board control Zoom meeting on Wednesday morning to, go over that because that was, effectively, usually they give you 30 days to implement whatever, and, this was supposed to be immediate, so, I know our attorneys, the WIA's attorneys, was working on language and everything, so we will be addressing that on Wednesday morning.
But this board, that doesn't have to.
No, nothing to do with anybody here. It's,
We don't have to. take
It's
any
something I
action.
gotta deal with, so.
Well, thanks, Dan. Mr. Cully, that's a lot of
We're
different
busy.
items, but it's
We're
all
busy
important.
now.
And it's all important stuff that affects kids.
They did change back the Title IX regs to
2020.
Yep, so
Uh,
we are in compliance.
Any questions of the WSB? Okay. Item 6H is CISA number 12 report, Mr. Glotting.
Because of state convention last month, we did not have a meeting, but we have a meeting next week.
Okay.
That's all.
That was easy.
Are you able to meet in the new facility there? Do they have a room big
No,
enough?
we go to the Schramm.
Strawman, okay, just wondering. Because they downsized. Reports from Northwestern High School, Northwestern Middle School, Northwestern Elementary / Andrew Elementary Schools, athletic directors, activities coordinator, director of special education, guidance counselors, quarterly report, and student board representatives. Activities director, director of special education, student board representatives.
As you can see, our student reps are gone tonight. One is at a basketball game, and the other one is in the middle of play practice. So Mr. Smith will kind of fill you in on what they're doing.
Yeah, a lot of the things I mentioned in my board report, but like Mr. Rego said, it is CT month. This past few weeks, FBLA, FCCLA, FFA have all had their competition, their local, more regional type competitions. DECA's got their state coming up. The dance team qualified out of their regional to go to state in their jazz routine, and then a couple of individuals went to lacrosse. Representing us, the Northwest Music Association High School All-Conference Choir will be here next Tuesday during the day, and then they'll do a performance for our student body in the afternoon, some songs. The Wisconsin Northwest Music Association Band Festivals, where the large group band gets judged. That's here on the 20th of February. The Visual Arts competition is in Ashland on the 28th of February. Have a team going down there. Musical is this weekend. Show is on Saturday night, 7:30, then again at 2 o'clock on Sunday, Wizard of Oz. Athletically, the wrestling team, we hosted conference wrestling this past Saturday, and we had 6 kids that medaled in the top 3 in the conference. We had 2 conference champions, Logan Jones and Lucas Brown. We had a runner-up. We had 3 thirds. The team finished 3rd out of 11 teams, and they had the regional competition this weekend. Boys and girls basketball. Girls are in first place still. Got a big game in Canada tomorrow night. They're a game behind us. The boys are in second place. They got some big games coming up and should be getting high enough seats, hopefully, to get a first round bye and a couple maybe home games.
Right now, they're
at the end of February. So
both sitting at a 2 seed in their respective have the section.
So those seats go out for the girls on Monday the 17th, the boys on the 24th. So a very vigorous month of activity.
I'd like to add something, Mr. Smith, if I could. A lot of these kids that were performing in FBLA, FFA, DECA, they're also playing sports. And we had one that was at the FBLA regionals in St. Croix Central, and then had her mom drive her over to Osceola or Somerset, where the basketball game was going on a little later that day. So, you know, I mean, these kids are very committed to what they're doing. I went and saw the hockey game last week because we got two of our girls are playing on the Superior hockey team. They took a 2 seed. They'll host Hayward and then host probably the sectional final. They're going to give a run to state as well. I mean, you got some really talented girls and kids out there. I mean, we're blessed here. We really are. Having so many kids involved in so many different things.
I'm also excited. I heard our middle school math team has been doing quite well. Is that true?
And your 8th grade girls basketball team beat Superior this week. So hey, let's celebrate that too. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you. Now that we have concluded the business of the board, we'll end the live stream, and we will have comments from the audience.
Do we have to do the community recognition?
Oh,
Miss J.
Oh, okay. Student, staff, and community recognition.
It's a little congratulations to everybody at Northwestern Middle School. The school received the Leadership Award for our dedication to inspiring and motivating students to reach their fullest potential and an appreciation of our part in National School Choice Week. I love my school bracelets were received and available for all students and staff. So congratulations to Mrs. Craig and her team and all the students at Northwestern Middle School.
Okay, now we will end the live stream, and because that concludes